My name's Martina Hamilton. I've been making jewellery under the Cat in the Moon brand now for over 20 years. The thing that influenced me to become a craft worker was a series of accidents that happened really. I studied fine art sculpture in college and I really wanted to work for myself. So it was the combination of being a creative person, wanting to work for themselves and wanting to live in what I think is the most beautiful county in Ireland. And when I moved there as a child, it was the winter time and the only thing that was really in bloom were the holly. It was the holly. And, but what was really interesting to look at visually were the stalks of plants like hogweed in particular. And that has come back, re-emerged again for me in this collection of jewellery that I've just launched. The hogweed structure is very interesting. It's very delicate and very strong, and it endured the elements of a West of Ireland winter. And I just thought once you produce something that to a lot of people is an ugly weed and do it in a precious metal, it takes on a whole new context. It looks celestial, and the collection, as you'll see, is very much now to do with the stars. So what started out as looking at the gutter, I am now looking at the stars, in the words of a very well-known poet.
My name's Gus Mabelson and I run the Crafts Council of Ireland's Ceramic Design and Skills course here in Thomastown, County Kilkenny. We're in an old disused grain mill by the side of the River Nore, and I have 12 students to train up to a professional standard of production pottery. It's now a 2-year program, and I have those 12 students and they come to me for the 2 years. And we go through all the production procedures that are required. So as they go through the 2 years, they acquire the skills and the fluency of skills and knowledge that they need to set up and produce work to a professional standard.
Well, to date on the course we have been focusing mainly on throwing, on the skill of throwing. We started in September, so we're about 2 months into the course. So we've been given demonstrations and we've just been sitting down and throwing day in, day out for 2 months, which has been great. The improvements in people, like, it's amazing just to see. Some people couldn't throw at all when they started, and now they have rows and rows of pots. I suppose in the future we'll be doing a lot more glazing and decorating, and kind of auxiliary skills will be brought into play. I did a degree in ceramics a few years back in Limerick, and it was a great experience at the time, but quite conceptual. So this is far more hands-on and far more practical. Very enjoyable, but very hard work as well, you know.
My name is Anne and I have my own business, craft business, and it's called Redesign, and I live in the heart of the country in Gregswood, Freshford, just outside Kilkenny. What influenced me to become a craft person was over the years I worked in different jobs and I always wanted to tap into my creativity side. I used to exhibit in Kilkenny Arts Week and I was a member of the Kilkenny Watercolour Society. And then at one of the exhibitions I decided that I'd do a few cards. And from there, the first night that I had the cards, 2 shops came up to me and asked me could they stock my cards. So my business grew from there. What inspires me the most in my work is nature itself and the way the seasons change nature. Nature has fantastic colour. I love to do flowers. I also love to do animals, and I like to capture the personality of the animal. In turn, I love kind of looking at animals and seeing the way they behave and stuff. So it's nice in the end product when I do that and a customer recognises that. That means it all for me.
I'm Liz Christie. I'm a textile designer and hand weaver. I make scarves, throws and wraps here in my studios, Swallow Studios, outside Castleblaney in County Monaghan. Now, what influenced me to become a crafts person and make a career for myself in the world of craft was a combination of things. My father was a shoemaker, so I believe that it's in my blood, the genes to be always doing something with my hands. And there was a lady who lived next door to me. She was called Molly, and she was a dressmaker. And while my mother would work in the local apple peeling factory, Molly used to look after me some evenings. And I can remember sitting on the floor and freeing out the pieces of scraps of the fabric. And I can remember seeing how they interlocked and being fascinated by that. I didn't know then that I'd end up being a weaver, of course, but that I can still remember the colour in those fabrics, and that has always stayed with me, so I would always think of her as my inspiration.
My name is Lisa Shaugi and I'm based in Dublin, but I work with a group of knitters in Wicklow. I decided, okay, well, I'm going to concentrate all my efforts in learning about everything about this craft as much as possible. And when I left college, I went and I worked for one of the top Irish knitwear designer, Lainey Keogh. And I learned quite a lot from her, but one of the main things I learned was you can hang on to the commercial element and keep the wearable aspects of the garments, as well as holding on to your own personality, injecting your own personality into your own creations. There are certain sources of inspiration that I find keep popping up in my work. One is definitely my memories of growing up in the Sudan and being surrounded by women and the old kind of adult dress. They wear a lot of voluminous fabrics, but it's also layering and layering of garments, which is the underlayer, the overlayer, and then this, beautiful long almost like a sari fabric that you wrap around your body. But I mean, I love that process of just pretty much just going, you're in the studio, you're working away, you're kind of shot everything out, and you're just creating something, bringing something that's from just your imagination onto paper and actually into, kind of 3D, something that you can hold, you can feel, you can wear, that people will look at and go, I have to have that piece. It's a great feeling to have someone come up to you and just be blown away by what you've produced, and to go away and know that they'll be happy to have something in their wardrobe that they'll be able to hang on to no matter what the fashion trends is. It would become a classical piece addition to what they would have already in their wardrobe.
The Crafts Council of Ireland's Jewellery and Goldsmithing course is located in the Castle Yard in Kilkenny, opposite Kilkenny Castle. The course has been in existence for the last 15 years. Its focus is on the traditional skills and craftsmanship in fine jewellery. It was set up to try and increase the level and quality of skill within the jewellery industry in Ireland. Students are learning how to stone set, hand engrave, and learn all the fabrication techniques involved in fine jewellery. There's a broad range of students enrolled in the course. Some are coming from design backgrounds in jewellery and silversmithing. Some are coming from a variety of other backgrounds, maybe tool making, maybe complete career change. They're coming from both second level and third level colleges, so students will range from maybe 18 years up to maybe students that are in their 30s or 40s. It really is quite varied.
Hello, my name is Ray Power from Castle Arch Pottery. We're here in the Castle Yard in Kilkenny, right across from the Design Centre and St John's Castle. I've been in full-time production for the last 16 years. We produce pottery, giftware for the retail and wholesale market. Some of the people we'd supply would be the likes of the Kilkenny shop in Dublin, Arnott's in Dublin, Medicine Burn nationwide, people like that. What sets us apart from other craftspeople involved in pottery, our competitors, would be the way that we decorate. We use a process called slip trailing. It's like drawing freely on a piece, and then the glaze sits very nicely on it when it's fired. The process involved from the initial stage, which is throwing on a wheel by a master potter. Each piece is thrown individually. We then leave it maybe for a day to dry out a bit, to harden, so that we can hold it. Then we use our slip trailing process again, which I refer to. Then the pieces are left to dry until they're bone dry, and then they're put in a kiln and fired to 1,000 degrees centigrade. Our glazes then are applied, and they are refired then to 1,200 degrees centigrade. It's great to get a compliment when customers of ours are passing through here and picking up our pottery. They're initially attracted to the varied selection of colours and glazes we have, and then to the attention to detail. We've been here 16 years, so on a number of occasions throughout the year you'll have repeat customers from people who are coming back into the country and want to bring home another gift to a loved one or for their own home.